Well, I'm going to share some more on our supposed drone situation, let's just say, unidentified objects that are floating around our skies, primarily over military installations, not just here in the US, but really globally, actually including Russia and China. I'm going to share something with you. If this doesn't help you to make up your mind about what this is, I don't know what will, but I am fascinated with it for a specific reason. I don't think it's just some other thing going on out there, because you know that I really don't pay attention to all that stuff. I think it is a pivotal moment. I'm going to share with you why. As you know, I'm an intuitive, so I share with you the actual meanings of these things, and I tell you when I think events are coming, big ones. I'm 100% right on with everything I predicted in the future. I'm going to do it again. But I want to share something with you, some information that took me to a place where I'm absolutely sure for myself of what that is out there. And I'm going to give you resources so that you can also check it out for yourself. So stay tuned, get your pen ready, or get ready to click down in my description where I'm actually going to share some links so that you can watch these things for yourself, the description, and the people that I believe are credible. This is big, all right? Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. All right, you ready for this? We're going to do a little debriefing here of where I got my information, what it's about, what I'm going to share with you today that's actually extremely exciting. I put turmeric in my coffee. I do fresh ginger and a little cinnamon. So get ready. This is going to be a fun one. All right, so as usual, I'm going to ask you to subscribe. Click the little bell, and it'll let you know when the next one's coming out, because right after this, in the next video this week, I'm going to tell you about the gift that's happening for you right now, directly related to the events we're going to discuss in this video. I'm going to share with you exactly what is happening for all human beings, and you may not even recognize it. So you're going to want to get ready for that video after you see what I'm going to share today. Okay, so I'm going to have links in the description for everything I'm going to reference, so you can go in and watch these videos. They're actual videos of the UAPs. What is that, what we call them now? UAPs. Of the UAPs by professionals who actually work with, not for, with the government. The government's actually relying on two of these people I'm going to introduce today, because they're coming up with astounding information, and they're doing it scientifically, not going out there and they're not ghost hunters or anything like that. Also in the description, I want you to know that digitalexplorers.net is a free webinar and masterclass for entrepreneurs who want to do something with their lives and take advantage of the internet industry that's huge. We can reach global audiences. If you want your own YouTube channel, if you want to write books, have master classes, teachings, I have an entire training system from start to finish that customizes your planet conscious online business. If you want purpose in your life, go down and get digitalexplorers.net link, go into my email list, get those free things, and let's start making changes in our life. That is going to be pivotal to what's going on right now. As you know, and maybe you don't, but I'll recap it quickly, we've had supposed drones that started showing up over New Jersey and just hanging out. And then everybody said, what are these things? All of a sudden they show up in Florida. They're actually in California, Washington, various other places. Now the pattern is that these supposed drones that are as big as a SUV, they vary. Some have lights, some have propellers and you can hear them, others are silent, many look like orbs. What are they? Who's seeing them? We're getting these, various stories, most of from people who haven't never actually firsthand seen them. I only go by the people who firsthand see and discriminate with the information that they see. They don't jump to conclusions, more of a scientific basis. That's what I'm going to share with you today. I just want you to know that. You'll get to check it out and you'll get to see what I mean. So these drones, they're calling them drones because they don't know what else to call them, are not getting the attention from the U.S. government, who is saying they don't know what they are, they don't think they're a threat, and of course making up all kinds of other stuff, which is all very vague. Why are they there? Who are they? Why are there so many? Why are they so different? And why are they popping up now all over the world? What does this mean? And as of today, not one person still has that. I'm going to give you an opinion on that, but I'm going to show you today why I believe these are of an extraterrestrial nature, beings unknown to the human species. You can call them UAPs, UFO, whatever you want to. I believe the root of these are of another species that are either here or visiting us. I'm going to give you a couple reasons why I think they're here. And there could be others there that are our military just observing them and watching them. Anytime you make a move on something, especially over these big cities, you're basically declaring war. And I love that nothing is going on and we're just really basically waiting to see what this is. Nothing is being done that is of a violent nature at all. No one has reported that. I want you to know that's a great sign that they're not sitting out there for a couple months, by the way, couple months now. And what are they doing? Collecting data, information. Well, we have satellites that can read license plates. So why do we not know where they're from, where they're going? And I think I know now after I saw some videos. Now I'll share a little information. As you know, I decided that I am going to start collecting information and news on this specific subject because I'm going to be speaking about it because I think it's pivotal to what's happening. I believe 2025 is going to blow your mind, and I'm going to share with you that this is all good and there is nothing to fear. So let's put you at ease right now. Nothing that's happening is the end of the world or the start of a world war. It absolutely is not. In fact, I think it's the total opposite. My part 2 video is going to explain to you what you can do with this because every person is getting what I called a gift. If you haven't already gotten yours, you will get it, and I'll explain what that is. So stay tuned for that next video. I am referring to News Nation with Ross Coulthart. I want to make sure I pronounce it right. I started watching him just a couple months ago when I heard of this, and I thought, well, let's get somebody who is not accepted by the media, which, by the way, the media is not reporting on this. Have you noticed? They're totally silent. They might show the craft or whatever, and the police, and the only ones that are speaking up are the police. Are some officials, but our government and everybody else is staying silent. What is that? The media is being controlled. I want somebody in media that's out of the box, that is not controlled by anything. Let's just say, I don't want to call it rogue media. Let's call it the out of the box media. In other words, they're not going by anyone's rules, but are objective, are asking a lot of questions without guiding and telling their guests what it is they think is happening. In fact, Ross absolutely has been in the past. He shared this for those of you who said, no, he's not skeptical. Yes, he actually said that he started out so skeptical about anything UFO related years ago. And now I think that he absolutely, like myself, is so convinced that it can't be anything but that. Now, he interviewed, so you got to go to News Nation. I'll put the links of the 2 videos I saw. The first video is from 2 months ago when these things were showing up. Now, I want to share with you these craft that are all over the place. They show up at night. When they are viewed, how they know they're being viewed is... This is another part of the equation. Whenever they are viewed by anybody on the ground, they shut down, they shut off. You can't see them, and they have no transponders. So any of you know that even the little small toy drones have rules and regulations. They have to be registered, and they also have what's called a transponder. That's so if I see this thing out there and I call up the police, they can track it and tell me who's looking in my bathroom window, right? It's a license to fly, basically. There is no transponder on these things because the biggest questions we have is, why can't you tell where these are coming from? Or they got to give up at some point. When they leave, where are they going? Why is nobody tracking this? Well, that's why. They're making themselves very unknown. And we're going to talk about that, why I'm convinced that this is not of an earthly matter, and that some of them up there, maybe military tracking it, are. Okay? And that's why you will hear some of them. Some people describe how different they all are. Now, we talked about orbs. Some of them look like orbs. We're going to see some pictures in the videos that hopefully you'll go watch and watch the whole thing, you know, before you make up your mind about anything. There is twins called Jerry and John Tedesco. They spent about $250,000 of their own money and then got a contributor to do what they call Nightcrawler Research. Now, they have been doing this for a very long time because they're curious about what's in the skies. They're curious about what we used to call UFOs, and came up with some crazy evidence. So they created this tricked out UAP hunting RV. You'll get to see the picture of it. It's hysterical. And Ross Coulthart said, you know, you're like the Ghostbusters of the UAP world. They're very serious. They're engineers, and they do this for free because they're just fascinated with it. They tell stories. If you ever notice that people who really have the big experiences have experiences early on that are a little, let's call, mystical. My student Nikki, who's going to do a orbs master class with you coming up next month, I asked her if she's had experiences, and the answer is yes, and it's in the family. There is a pattern. Well, this couple, these twins, they're out of, is it Long Island or New Jersey? I think it's Long Island. Anyways, you'll learn exactly where they're located in the video. They, as 7-year-olds, were being watched by a babysitter, and a man knocked on the door who looked a little like a snazzy man in black, saying he was with this extermination company. Slug-a-Bug is what the name of it was. Well, stupidly, the babysitter lets him in, and he opens up this briefcase with the kids there and starts talking about UFOs and all kinds of other subjects related to that. And then he looks at John, one of the kids, and says he feels that he is highly intuitive. Really had a discussion that these kids had never really heard of or knew of. He spent a while there and then left. Well, yeah, they did report him, and they looked out the window when he left, never saw where he went, what vehicle, and they said, well, if he was walking pretty fast because they couldn't see where he came from, and he was never tracked. In fact, Slug-a-Bug didn't exist. There is one down here in Florida, but that appeared years later after this incident. They believe that sort of planted, no pun intended, a bug in their mind, and they became fascinated with that subject. I believe that's not coincidence. I too am fascinated with it. As you know, I have very distinct dreams and memories of being on another planet, and I know exactly and can draw a map of it and the situation of the planet, and it wasn't good. All right, we had to eventually leave the planet because of the wars going on over it. The people that lived there were peaceful, we were peaceful, but there were battles going on over the planet and taking out cities and people having to relocate, and eventually the skies were dark at one point and we got to evacuate. I was one of those people. Actually, I aided in the evacuation of people that planet. Where did I come up with this? I've having this dream for decades and never studied any UFO, UAP stuff at all. I thought it was weird, to be honest with you. So I was an investment banker for 20 years, and now I'm sitting in front of you. Why is that? I think we're all being led to the truth. Now, let's talk about Jerry and John and what you're going to learn. Jerry and John have been monitoring this. When they kitted out their RV, they made sure it was reinforced so there could be no interference from cell phones, in and out, local military, planes and airports, and they really separate these things so that they know with what they're seeing is not something else. They study, they live near an airport, they study the traffic coming in and out, they know what it looks like, sounds like, all the stats that these wonderful scientists, they're hysterical by the way, very serious and really love their stuff and know it. They know the difference between a plane or a helicopter, and this is all explained in these videos. Now there was an incident, and this is what made me realize when they started to show the many, many videos, and they have hundreds and hundreds of them actually, that show orbs. Orbs they're plasma, they're going in and out. One had orb with a square in it, maybe a triangle, whatever it is, spinning inside. It was really all over the board in size and color, the behavior. You're going to see in these videos, the first one that I'm going to give you down below, these are like hour long, and I can't replay this on my channel. I don't have permission to do that. They don't allow it. I want to send you over there so you can see it directly off of their channel. So this is what Nikki and I are going to show you, because I asked Nikki, who sees orbs and shoots them, sends me videos, and I said, did you see these with your eyes? And the answer was no. Well, I thought that was really weird because I don't understand any of this stuff, right? I don't study it. And the twins said that many of these orbs that they're seeing are through the equipment, because they are energy, and if they don't want to be seen, they won't light up. And so they would see this and actually send over beams to communicate with these things that would respond, that would sometimes hide from them. And one incident, and this was witnessed by one of their partners who she gets interviewed also, is when they saw this big one that was surrounded by smaller ones coming toward them at a very fast pace, and when every time they looked at the equipment it was closer and closer. Well, it got so close, and they couldn't see it with the naked eye, that got so close that John started to run and scrambled and fell down. They were on the beach, but he fell down and felt like he had no control over his legs. The paralysis, yeah. His brother comes over and's trying to get him up, saw what was happening, was trying to get him up. He also fell down, had no control over legs, that paralysis again, crawling and trying to get out of there, okay? Because they felt, not that they felt like they were in danger so much, it was this natural human flight reflex, because they didn't know what it was, and the fact that they lost control over their legs, who knows, we hear about abductions, that's what happens. Anyways, they're very well aware of that. Now you're going to see actual orbs in the videos where the orbs go up into a much bigger one. They go together and start to rotate together. This is mind-blowing stuff. I've never seen things, and I've seen videos of the supposed drone videos, and I can't tell whether it's a plane or a drone, an orb. I have to tell you, so I did shoot something in our skies here. Hopefully I can play it for you here. If I can play it for you here, I'll do it right now. And that's a plane. It's moving all over the place, right? So that video is actually a plane. I wanted to see what it looks like in an iPhone, and sure enough, it looks just like the drones. It could look like an orb. So I wanted to know when I'm seeing something, if it just appears to be an orb, if that's really what it is. But after I saw John and Jerry's Tedesco's videos, they identified the difference amongst that craft. They show the different ones with the flashing lights, they show the orbs, and they talk about the difference, and they're using high-tech, super high-tech equipment that makes it no doubt what you're seeing in that camera. So now I am absolutely convinced that we have extraterrestrials. Now here's what I want to share with you, and I'm going to do a part 2 tomorrow about this. This is accelerating, but it isn't new. They've been here forever. They are feeling somehow that something is going to be happening, and they are getting ready, getting us ready, and getting ready for anything that could be of a negative nature. This is my opinion, and I'm going to share some things with you in the upcoming video. Why are they doing it? Now that I'm convinced that it is, these are UAPs, unidentified, meaning they can come from the air or water. John and Jerry have documented them coming out of the water. Nobody's talked about that with this latest incident, and said that they have been watching these clusters for over a decade. Over a decade. And that it's just gotten more and more noticeable. Well, it's in our face, and we are taking note. So the more that it is done, the more we're aware that this is something beyond just some drones hanging out. All right, it's accelerating, and it's going to accelerate. Now, if you hear anybody out there saying anything else, if they don't have proof, or they're not showing you somebody who has some kind of real proof besides just looking up in the sky with an iPhone, I'm super skeptical, not of what it is, but of what I'm seeing, right? Because, you know, things can appear to be one thing and they're not. This is accelerating because it's a protection system. This is my opinion, a protection system that's going into place to let us know that there are others here, that they are in peace because they're not doing anything. That's why they're sitting up there for so long, because they, after all this time, have done nothing. They're not collecting data. They don't have to. They know everything, right? They know what's going on. I believe some of them have been here for a long time, possibly underground, underwater, underground. I think it's possible. We've seen supposed UFOs coming out of volcanoes, coming out of the water. We've heard that many, many times. I do believe those are true, not all of them, but I do believe that they do exist in underground bases. I think they're here because they've always been here, and they're monitoring things, seeing how things are going with and for us, and decided it was time for them to make themselves known, not as a test, but somebody didn't like when I used the term a demonstration of force. Let's just, force for me is not a negative. Let's use the word a demonstration of power and presence. Let's do that. I think that's a nicer term also. What does that mean? We're here and we can shut off anything. Now, here's what happened to Jerry and John. They lost, oh, my bunnies are out there. They lost power. They've had battery drains, equipment. That's not military doing this. They have no reason to do that. Now, here's the really good part, is that our government is working with them. They are allowed to say that. They're not allowed to say which branch of our government. And in one of these videos, the first one I'm going to give you, they gave Jerry and John 10 questions that the public should be asking, which tells me that they don't know. They are okay with John and Jerry saying that they're working with one of the groups, you know, government groups. But John and Jerry are not saying who, which means they're okay with letting the public know that they're on it, but that they don't have information. And you're going to love the 10 questions. I'm going to let you watch those because it's a little lengthy. What are the questions? And they're pretty obvious ones, but really great ones, and maybe we should all start asking them. So if these things can blink out and you don't know who they are, what they are, you don't even know where they are, then even our military can't track that. So that's why they can't tell us where they're coming from and where they're going. They're making sure that we can't. That makes more sense. The actual drones that are obvious drones are probably mixed in with the UAPs, observing them, hanging out with them to see what they're doing, and nobody's shooting on anybody else. Now, the presence of the UAPs and what they've demonstrated is that we can shut down anything we want. They have shut down military installations. Actually, in one incident that I heard from the higher sources, first-hand sources on News Nation, was that they've, in one situation in particular, turned them all on to let them know we can do some damage too, and then shut them down. And there was nothing anybody could do. In other words, be careful with your little toys. We can set them off too, and you have no control over that. I think that's a show of power, of peace, and to let us know that no matter what happens, and I think it coincides with Trump coming into office, that maybe they're concerned about what might happen. And I'm not like saying good or bad about him or his administration or anything else. I'm just saying that they're preparing to let everyone know that nothing else is going to be allowed that's going to take us out, because now they are a part of us. Now, I talked about in my last video, not many people looked at that video, but Chris Bledsoe, who has had experiences with, extraterrestrial, our planetary neighbors, wrote a book called UFO of God, and a decade ago predicted this. It's in his book, and says what it is, that it is them showing that they're here and that it's ushering in a new era in 2026. We're going to find out a lot about them and us. And I think it's going to be what he calls a new knowledge that's going to blow our minds of who and what we are and how massively powerful and capable we are of changing this planet. We've done so much damage at this point, and I think, as you saw in my book, I write about the tipping point and that we're past it, and there's no going back from that until we completely change our ways, and that's what's happening right now. So you can go and get my book on Amazon. It will empower you. There's no fear in the book. In fact, it's the opposite, and I hope that you will go watch these two videos. Now, the second video link that I give you is a most recent one from Ross, from News Nation, with the twins. You can watch the whole thing, but the first half is an interview with a local journalist in New Jersey who firsthand did see them, but I don't believe is really giving any more information than anybody else. Because, she's not using high-tech equipment. She's just seeing them, and nobody's giving her answers. She's just an observer. I watched it, but you may want to fast forward, because the second half is John and Jerry, and they give the updates. They are saying now that the government is actually working with them, and that they're going deeper into figuring this out, the patterns, and yes, they are all over the world now. Ross even said that. He said, why, if it's Russia, if it's China, then why are they in China and Russia, and that they don't know what it is. I don't believe that these are adversaries. I believe these are UAPs, and I believe it's all really great, because in my next video, I'm going to tell you how you personally are going to receive a gift and what that means and what you can expect coming up. And last night I got this massive, massive, beautiful feeling and excitement about what this is and what's coming. I want to share it with you to let you know that when we go out of fear, you guys know my whole program's called Breakthrough Fear. When we go out of fear the world changes, everything changes. We go from a place of community because no one is a threat. The ego is not controlling anymore. It doesn't need power. And that is exactly what's happening, but it won't happen with everyone. Now, I want to let you know that I launched a channel called Chic Sustainability. I'll put that link also in the description. You can find everything down there. Pick and choose. You can go to my Amazon store to purchase sustainable, non-toxic, non-plastic things for your body and hair and everything. But most of all, I want you to know I launched this new channel to show you how to live that new life and still enjoy the material world. It's okay. In fact, that's one of the things we're doing here is creating beautiful things, enjoying it, but not relying on it for happiness or hoarding. And so I'm going to teach you how to do that chic, sustainably. In other words, you can live a beautiful life. You don't have to go out in a tent somewhere and pick dandelions for your salad. And so break through fear, which some of you have been in and taken that course, is also going to change, and it's going to include a lot of chic sustainability. I'm going to pull those two together, and so I want to guide you. We're taking it up another notch. How do we go into that new space? How do we detox in a world that's toxic? So look for my next video. Go watch these videos. I'm convinced they're UAPs being monitored by military, advanced military. We're not in charge. We're not in charge, but you're in charge of this that contributes to that. And we're going to talk more about it. So go watch the videos. Tell me what you think. We know that we are outranked in technology and power with them. And it's about time, don't you think? Are you ready for it? I sure am. I'm going to share with you what your gift is going to be that's going to take you into this new era. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.